So I will do a brief introduction, and then it's your show.
All right.
Yes. Kính chào các anh chị và các bạn. Xin cảm ơn các anh chị và các bạn đã dành buổi sáng Chủ nhật để cùng với SmartA và Đại học hàng đầu của Ireland, University College Dublin tham dự buổi webinar ngày hôm nay. Ở Việt Nam hiện nay thì nước Mỹ, Canada và Australia vẫn là những điểm đến du học hàng đầu của sinh viên Việt Nam. Như vậy còn sinh viên Mỹ, sinh viên Canada, sinh viên Australia thì đi du học ở đâu? Thì hôm nay chúng tôi rất là vui được giới thiệu với các anh chị và các bạn hòn ngọc đục bảo của châu Âu, thung lũng Silicon của châu Âu, của sinh viên Mỹ và sinh viên Canada. Đó chính là một quốc gia vẫn còn lạ một chút nhưng đang ngày càng trở nên quen thuộc với sinh viên Việt Nam, Cộng hòa Ireland. Hiện nay thì trong số các sinh viên quốc tế thì ở tại Ireland thì sinh viên Mỹ vẫn chiếm top đầu bảng 14,5%, và sinh viên Canada thì chiếm top 4 là 5,5% du học sinh quốc tế tại Ireland. Có lẽ đây là sức hút của một đất nước rất xinh đẹp với truyền thống bề dày văn hóa lâu đời, cũng như là sức hút của một quốc gia có nền kinh tế phát triển, một trong nền kinh tế phát triển bậc nhất ở châu Âu, một đất nước có GDP bình quân đầu người top 2 thế giới, và là nơi đất nước nhỏ bé xinh đẹp, là nơi tập trung của 1.400 tập đoàn đa quốc gia với rất nhiều cơ hội. Và tôi rất là vui khi mà được giới thiệu với các anh, các chị và các bạn trường đại học University College Dublin, trường đại học đứng top 1 của Ireland về sinh viên, về việc làm của sinh viên ngay sau khi tốt nghiệp, và cũng là một trong những điểm đến số 1 của sinh viên quốc tế. Và chỉ là về phía của SmartA thì những học sinh của SmartA đã đi du học tại UCD đều có trải nghiệm vô cùng tuyệt vời, ngay cả trong quá trình học lẫn ngay sau khi mà các bạn tốt nghiệp. Chúng tôi thậm chí có những bạn học sinh đi học thạc sĩ thì ngay tháng 9 các bạn có bạn học sinh đi học thạc sĩ tài chính chẳng hạn, thì ngay tháng 9 bạn nhập học, nhưng mà đến tháng 10 thì bạn đã rất vui được báo với cả SmartA rằng bạn đã nhận được thư mời làm việc của những ngân hàng và công ty kiểm toán hàng đầu. Thế và hôm nay thì chúng tôi rất là vui được các anh chị và các bạn góp mặt trong buổi webinar này và cùng chúng tôi tìm hiểu những cơ hội học tập và phát triển sự nghiệp tại đất nước Ireland xinh đẹp, cũng như là với trường đại học hàng đầu của Ireland, University College Dublin. Và chúng tôi xin được trân trọng giới thiệu chị Apple, là đại diện ở khu vực châu Á Thái Bình Dương của UCD. Hi Apple.
Hi Nga, and hi everyone here today. So I shall start a presentation then.
Yes, thank you.
No worries. Right, so the flow of the presentation today will be, I will just talk a bit of Ireland. Then after that, go into UCD and how to apply to UCD. And then after that, follow with it is a Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can actually put it, I guess, in the chat. If it's in Vietnamese, Nga will help to translate it over to me. So don't worry if you're like typing it in Vietnamese as well. So feel free to ask any questions and we will go through them at the end of the presentation. So my name is Apple, and I'm the recruitment coordinator of UCD in the Asia Pacific region. So once you submitted an application, you receive an offer, and then once you decided that you want to come to UCD, you'll be actually meeting or either chatting me through email quite often after that, because I'll be doing the part where, for example, if you have any questions prior to traveling to Ireland or UCD, or if there's any issues around your application or any documents required, those type of things, you can always feel free to reach out to me, and I will be your main point of support and contact prior to you traveling over to Ireland, and of course with the help of Nga and the team in SmartA as well, so they would be supporting your journey over to Ireland. Right, so to begin with, is not too sure how many of you are here actually know where Ireland is. So Ireland is actually at the most west part of Europe. So we are a part of the European Union. And in fact, we are actually known as one of the main English-speaking country in the European Union. So for a lot of students who are in the Europe, for example, and if they are looking for a destination to study in English, or either like because after Brexit, so a lot of changes in terms of political, geographic kind of things. But technically, in terms of the relationship of Ireland, UK, Ireland, US, or even Ireland, Europe per se, so Ireland is actually a very neutral country in the sense that we keep a very good relationship with everyone, and in terms of trade relationships as well. So if we are interested in, for example, like various different areas in like business, ICT, finance, those type of area, so there is opportunities around, and I will go more in depth into it as we go through the presentation. So this is the four main things about Ireland. So one is because of our neutrality in the world, so we are actually a very safe and peaceful country. So we are in fact ranked number 2 in the world in terms of the Global Peace Index. And as I mentioned previously, so we are an English-speaking country in the Eurozone. So for example, if you want to learn Irish language, feel free to do that. We do have workshops around it, but it's not required for your daily life or learning or teaching or those type of things when you are in Ireland. All science boards has 2 languages. You don't really need to know the Irish language for you to buy groceries or whatsoever to navigate in Ireland, for example. There's no need for you to learn Irish language, but you can learn the Irish language as a fun and cultural language to learn if you want to know more about the history of the country, know more about the culture of the history. And sometimes if you do chat with a local, if you do know a bit of the language, they would appreciate it, but it's totally optional for you to learn it. And in terms of well-being, so Ireland, we take very good care of the people living in Ireland, regardless whether you are from Ireland itself, from other European Union, or from around the world. Because Ireland, we are actually, especially if you're looking at Dublin per se, we are actually a very multinational, multicultural type of city. So in a sense that there's a lot of different nationalities when you are navigating in Dublin per se, and even in UCD itself. So you'll notice that we call ourselves Ireland's Global University. So it's because in that sense, there's a lot of different nationalities and cultures that you will actually meet when you are actually studying in Ireland or in UCD. So for example, like gender equality, World Happiness Index, so those are things. And for some students, I think that because Vietnam per se, my perception is usually the interest is in business. If you are looking in terms of like business sense, so we are actually known as number 11 best country by Forbes for business as well. So those are the things that you can also look into. Of course, there's more information about Ireland online. So you can definitely go online, hop onto YouTube or any other platforms out there, and you can actually find more information about Ireland per se. So if you are coming from Vietnam and is holding a Vietnamese passport, generally then you will need a visa into Ireland, but the visa application is actually very straightforward. So how it works is usually we advise students to prepare an application 6 to 8 weeks before you travel. This is so that in case if there's any rejection or any delay per se, you still have sufficient time for you to appeal for your visa application. So that is just so that you have enough time in case there is any emergency or unforeseen circumstances. And then after you receive your travel visa into Ireland, all you need to do is arrive in Ireland and within 90 days, apply for the Irish residence permit, which will be your permit to stay in Ireland. And in the first year, you need to provide the relevant biometrics in the immigration office. But after that, every year after that, you just need to renew that online, so which is very straightforward if you're doing a bachelor degree. If you're doing a master degree, then after that, we'll talk about the stay back visa. So the visa that allows you to stay back in Ireland to work and also look for a job. So you will actually renew over to that permit after that if you finish a master degree. So this is generally how in terms of the graduate pathway looks like. So like if you are studying in UCD per se, or if you are studying in any Irish institution, you can work part-time, 20 hours per week when you are studying, and full-time when it's a summer break or when it's a term break. So it's 40 hours per week if it's during a holiday or a term break. And then there is a lot of programs that have internship opportunity. Of course, most of them are on the bachelor level. Some master degrees, it's possible to fit in an internship, or you get the option of doing an internship instead of dissertation, but it really depends on the program that you are doing. So some programs, it's possible to do it, some programs, no. So you need to check with the specific program that you want to apply to. And the third level graduate scheme is what we call the stay back visa. So the stay back visa, if you finish a bachelor degree in Ireland, regardless what institution and what program, you can stay back in Ireland up to 1 year after a bachelor degree. And if you finish a master degree and above, you get a postgraduate stay back visa, which is a 2 years stay back visa. And it allows you to stay back in Ireland to look for a job, work full time, if you after that want to stay longer than a 1 or 2 year, then you will need to have a work visa. But a 1 or 2 year allows you to have that buffer period to compete with local students or other EU students to work in Ireland, because they don't need to pay for your visa or sponsor anything else. So with that visa alone, you can actually work in those companies in Ireland. The employment permit is what I mentioned in terms of work visa. So also to note that there's a minimum wage in Ireland. So every year they will adjust it. Usually they increase it because inflation, cost of living increases every year type of thing. So you can refer that again in terms of the minimum wage when you are actually in Ireland. Right, so those are the things that I already went through already. Just a recap of it there. All right, so moving into Dublin. So Dublin is the capital city of the Republic of Ireland and also where UCD is. And it's actually known as Europe's tech capital because there's a lot of IT companies and multinational companies that are actually based in Dublin or based in Ireland per se. Because after Brexit, a lot of climate has changed in terms of business-wise. Because a lot of those multinational companies are looking for a European headquarter. So they have actually, in fact, moved their companies over to Ireland because of the English speaking, because of tax, thing, and because of various reasons. So Ireland now has a lot of these IT companies or multinational companies that are based where, because Ireland itself, we don't really have a huge population. So there's that demand in terms of like skilled workers in those type of industry. So if you're interested in those area of studies, or if you are specialized in those areas, there is an opportunity for you in terms of upskilling, or if you're looking for experience in terms of working in Ireland per se. So these are the general industries that are quite popular in Ireland in the recent few years. So ICT will be anything related to computer science, some of them probably in terms of information or data related. If you're interested in those type of area, ICT is one area. Engineering-wise is very broad. In Ireland in general, engineering covers a lot of different areas. If you're looking at environmental related, biomedical, aerospace, energy, even ICT, medical devices, those type of area are there. Finance-wise, so fintech, financial technology, is a huge thing in Ireland at the moment because a lot of those banks are now based over here, and they are looking at everything from like cybersecurity to even system-wise or even smarter ways to go about with financial service. So if you're interested in those type of area, it's something that you can consider. Food and agriculture, because of the heritage of Ireland in the sense that we are agriculture country to begin with. We were actually known many years ago as the exporter for food in Europe, because a lot of the food are produced in Ireland and then it gets transferred or exported over to UK, for example, other parts of Europe. So if you're interested in like food and agriculture wise, it's also an area that you can consider, and very different from perception of agriculture or food in the past, where it's still a very manual based type of industry. Nowadays, food and agriculture is a lot of technology, a lot of knowledge, a lot of business included in it already. So if you're interested in that type of area, it's something that you can consider as well. Medical technology, pharmaceutical, also two main industry in Ireland. So if you are interested in those type of area, STEM subjects specifically, so these are the areas that you can consider as well. So this is just a cap screen in terms of like what is the companies, where are they located in Ireland or in Dublin. So these are the main place, we call it the Silicon Dock in Dublin, which you can see a lot of the big names are scattered around the river, which cuts through the center here. So this is called the River Liffey, which is the main river that cuts through the city center of Dublin. So you can see most of them are actually scattered across two coasts of the river here. And then the Silicon Dock from UCD to the Silicon Dock is roughly 4.5 kilometers away, which is like 20 minutes away by bus. There's a lot of bus that allows you to travel from the Silicon Dock or from the city center over to UCD. So don't really need to worry about that. But UCD campus itself is equally self-sufficient. And around UCD, there's a lot of facilities available already. So you don't really need to worry that you need to travel into the city center to get anything. Sometimes you may want to do some shopping, but in most cases, you can get most of the things around the neighborhood in UCD already. So UCD, so one thing to note is we do have two campuses in Ireland. So one is called the Bellevue campus, which is the one on the left here. So it's actually the main campus, regardless if you're doing a foundation program, a bachelor program, a master program, a PhD program, or even postdoctoral program, or even a lot of the research centers, they're actually based on the main Bellevue campus. The only exception is if you are doing a postgraduate business program, then you'll be based on the Blackrock campus. So there's actually a shuttle bus that travels between the two campuses. There's also public bus that travels between the two campuses. So it's actually not difficult to navigate between the two campuses. Okay? So they are roughly like 50 minutes away by bus, or if you cycle, you can cycle over as well. But both campuses have their own facility. It has their own accommodation, on-campus accommodation. So there's actually not a lot of need for you to travel between the two campuses. Only if you join a society on the main campus, then probably you need to travel over to the main campus. If you are on the Blackrock campus, that's the only thing. So UCD, we are actually known as Europe's largest urban campus, in the sense that our campus is actually a very huge green campus, and a lot of facilities, including research centers and even like mentioned accommodation, are actually all based on our campus itself. So it's a woodland campus as well. So if you are interested in terms of green, sometimes you just want to relax, get away from your study, the campus itself has around 8 kilometers of woodland walk that allows you to jog. Sometimes like the public will actually bring their dog to walk as well. So it's actually a very open and safe campus in terms of you if you're trying to get away from your studies as well. And these are some of the renowned facilities that we have on campus. A lot of them are the top and the state of the art in Ireland. So if you can't find it in UCD, generally you can't really find it anywhere else in Ireland already. For example, like the Science District, the Bloomberg Trading Room, even the Olympic-sized swimming pool. So in Dublin, there's actually 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools, and one of them is actually based on UCD campus. So those are the facilities that you can access when you are studying on campus. So a few more things about UCD or Ireland in general. So if you are looking at UCD, so sometimes people ask, okay, so what is the main USP or what is the main selling point of your university, and why should I study in UCD? Because there's so many universities out there nowadays. So one thing to note is we are actually a research university. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to go into academia or even research when you are studying in the program. So for example, like if you are looking at our first year retention rate, at the moment is 94%. So meaning that 94% of our students every year, they get to progress after the first year. And then also another thing is in terms of the facilities that I mentioned, a lot of the facilities, and they are accessible for students or even researchers that are based on UCD campus. So like we have our own research farm, we have our own veterinary hospital, 3D cinema, metrology station. So if you're interested in like trying out those facilities, or even like sometimes students, they probably want to have experience utilizing those type of equipments or technology before they go on to the real world, the workforce per se, then it's actually a very good opportunity for them to have that experience to use those technology on campus before they graduate. And in terms of our subject area, so even though now we are currently ranked number 2 in Ireland and 126 in the world, depending on the area of subject, for example, if you're looking at business, science, engineering, those are the areas that we actually rank number 1 in Ireland and rank within top 50 of the world. So in terms of career development, we take it very seriously as well. So even starting from the first year, even sometimes before you even travel to UCD or to Ireland, we generally will already start providing you information or creating the awareness for you in terms of career development and how to structure your degree in terms of making it more employable after you finish your studies. So these are some of the samples here, and I have also provided one of a testimonial from a previous student from Vietnam. So 92% of our students will go into employment or go on to do research, further studies within 9 months after they leave UCD. So it's actually a very good statistics in the sense that it shows most of our students are workplace ready, or they have a very clear idea on where they want to progress after they completed their study. Few things about the international outlook of UCD. So in the sense that you notice we talk a lot about Ireland's global university, or we actually promote ourselves as Ireland's most global university, in the sense that because we have the highest number of student population, which is at the moment around 37,000 in total, And among it, around 10,000 of them are international students. So our international students are coming from very diverse background, from different nationality, different age group, from different background, cultural background, social background as well. So at the moment, there's 152 different nationality on campus. So especially like some of the programs that you're joining, like business, for example, having that very diverse population in your classroom itself, or that very diversity in your classroom itself, it helps you in terms in the future if you're looking to work in a multinational company, to have that mindset working with a group of people from different background and different nationality. And if you are interested in exchange, so some students, they are also looking at maybe Erasmus Plus, either like study abroad, short-term exchange or something. We also have a lot of exchange agreement across the world. So at the moment, we have around like 55 different countries in terms of our partners. And then also in terms of our student support, we are also known as #1 for student support because we have the largest peer mentor program in Ireland. So peer mentor program is like students who, like after they finish their first year, they move on to second, third, fourth year. In that case, they actually help to mentor the new students who actually join. So it helps you to build that relationship in terms of knowing someone, a key person in UCD, and learning about the ropes in terms of studying in Ireland or in UCD. So you can actually approach your peer mentor, and you'll be assigned a peer mentor when you actually join the program itself. So for some students who are looking more like towards research part, so these are the research networks that UCD is on, also where most of the fundings are. So if you're interested in research, you know funding is a very important thing. So this is where you can look into that in terms of projects and fundings. And we are also known for like global connections and also industrial collaboration, as well as if you're looking at accreditation wise, so a lot of these are our accreditation, these are around the business school. So our business school is a Triple Crown accredited business school. So the program is actually recognized across the world. And depending on what individual program you are doing in the business school, there is also additional accreditation as well. So engineering related programs or even architecture, also planning, those type of areas. So those are the accreditations around it. So of course, on top of the academic part of it, we also highly recommend students to join sports clubs, student society, because it helps to build your CV. It helps you to network with people, know people beyond your own classroom. So it actually gives you different perspective of life also, and also helps you to meet, and maybe you never know, you meet your best friend there in one of those club societies here. So moving on more towards the academic part of it in terms of program offering. So UCD, we have a large range of program options, like bachelor program, postgraduate program, or even PhD program. So it really depends on where your interest lies and what level of study you are looking at. So this is the main faculty that is at UCD. So I won't go through every single one of them because there's a lot of them in it, but we have 6 colleges in total. So generally it covers most of the subjects area that you can think of already. And in terms of the subject that we are popular at, so these are the subjects that we are now within the top in UCD. And if you see any one of them with the hashtag star sign, it actually means that we are actually ranked top 50 in the world at the moment. So if you're interested in those type of areas, these are areas, subjects that you can consider when you are studying in UCD. Right, so moving on to the next part is how the degree is structured. So usually I'll start with the bachelor program first, because bachelor program is usually quite straightforward. So our bachelor program, depending on subject area, some of them are 3 to 4 years. If you're looking at medicine, it's 5 to 6 years. So usually you will be given 60 credits per year, and then you get to allocate some of the optional or elective module. But generally, the remaining core modules, you actually need to follow the guideline of your own programs. So that is for bachelor program. If you're looking at the graduate taught program, which is generally the master degree that most of us are familiar with. So the master degree, it's a 1 to 2 year, depending on subject area. Majority of the master's program are 1 year, but our master degree, depending on the program that you are doing, the subject area that you are doing, the structure of the program can be quite different. So I'm taking the most straightforward one, sometimes it will be like 60 credit top module and 30 credit of project, a dissertation, or an internship or whatsoever. But each program will be structured quite differently. So you need to refer to the individual master degree in terms of how your master degree is structured. And in terms of entry requirement, if you're applying to an undergraduate bachelor level program, generally the minimum entry requirement is a Vietnamese gifted high school with a GPA of 8 and above. Of course, if you are looking at more competitive program, we would recommend you to combine it with SAT. If not, we also accept like A-level, IB, any US curriculum. Those type of international qualifications are also accepted. And then for students who are maybe coming from the national general curriculum, in that case, we also do have a foundation pathway for you to progress into our bachelor degree. So another thing is if you're looking at a master level degree, so a postgraduate degree, so generally you need to have completed a bachelor degree from an honors bachelor degree from Vietnam. If you are completing a bachelor degree from Vietnam, generally that is considered an honors bachelor degree. So with a GPA of 7 and above, of course, this is a minimum. Depending on individual programs, some of them will need a higher requirement than 7. If you have any work experience, feel free to include that into it. Of course, we sometimes also have students who maybe come back and study after like 5 or 10 years of working. It's very common as well. So if you are presenting good working experience, definitely highlight that in your application because it's a huge plus point to your application. And PhD-wise, straightforward in some sense, but a lot of studying and research that you need to do prior to you applying as a PhD student. So provided the link there. So this slide, I will be sharing it with SmartA. So any questions, you can always reach out to SmartA to get more information in terms of how to apply. English requirement is standard or more like some programs may have higher requirement, but generally the minimum is IELTS 6.5 and no individual band below 6. Programs like under the business, postgraduate business school, some of them will have a higher requirement, so like 7 overall and 6.5 minimum for individual component. Some education program probably also will require higher component grades as well. So you need to check the program that you're applying to. Usually they will have it clearly listed on the program page itself. So this is the application timeline. We generally only do 1 intake per year in September. So if you want to apply for the incoming September intake, not for this year, of course, this year is date already. So if you're looking at next year September intake, generally you can start applying from October this year already, depending on your own convenience and also depending on when you will be receiving your final results. So if you're aiming for any of the scholarships, so I'll be talking more about the scholarship in the next few slides, but bear with me in terms of timeline for now. So for scholarships application, most of them are around February and March. And then the results of the scholarship will normally be announced around April to June, depending on what scholarship you are applying. So because if you're coming from Vietnam, you are visa required. So normally we recommend you to submit your application no later than the end of May, so that it gives you enough time to get addition on your application. And then after that, move on to apply for visa, prepare those type of travel, those type of things. So if you are looking at when to apply, so you can refer to the timeline down here. Generally, there's 2 ways you can submit an application. One is you can go directly to our online application portal to submit an application. But just to note that if you do it online yourself, there's a 60 euro application fee. Another option is you can actually go on to SmartA, which is one of UCD authorized agent, and you can actually ask them to submit an application on your behalf. So those are the options in terms of how to apply. And then you can look at the documents required. So like the academic transcript and English language are generally the main document. But of course, depending on the program that you are applying to, you are also looking at like CV, for example, reference letter, personal statement. Some programs are like some of the creative writing program, they are also asking for like writing sample. Or if you're applying to an architecture master's degree, they may also ask for your portfolio. So those type of things are also things that you probably want to also check when you're submitting your application. It will be all clearly stated when you are submitting your application. And then in terms of tuition fee, cost of living, so the tuition fee is categorized in different areas like non-laboratory programs are like business, art, social science, programs that don't use the lab. So for those programs, generally the tuition fee per year, you are looking at around 22,000 euro. If you are looking at laboratory programs, so science, engineering, architecture type of program, the tuition fee per year is around 28,000 euro. If you are looking at medicine program, it's actually the most expensive in UCD. So it's roughly around 57,000 euro per year. And cost of living, we usually advise around 15,000 euro so that you have sufficient fund when you are staying there. Of course, it depends then on your accommodation, how much it costs, because the pricing in terms of accommodation in Dublin can varies quite large. depending on if you're looking at like share room or single room or studio apartment type of thing. And another thing to note is accommodation can be quite expensive in Dublin. So in that sense that like majority of the cost in terms of the living cost is actually contributed towards accommodation. If you manage to find cheaper accommodation or affordable accommodation, it actually helps you to save a lot in terms of the cost of living. So just one thing to note over there. And scholarships wise, so there's 4 types of scholarship that Vietnamese students can actually consider. Of course, more than 4 actually, but these are the few main ones. So the International Student Scholarship is a partial automated scholarship based on academic merit. So to break that down, meaning that you don't need to submit an application. If you have been successful and your grades meet the requirement of the program, so you will be you will automatically receive this scholarship on your offer letter. So it's an amount between 2,000 to 10,000 euro based on your previous result presented. There's also another higher band scholarship called the Global Excellence Scholarship. So the Global Excellence Scholarship is 100% or 50% tuition fee scholarship. So it can be renewed every year. Similarly for the international student scholarship as well. So it can be renewed every year, but of course you need to maintain a CGPA. One thing to note about the Global Excellence Scholarship is that students who have been successfully awarded this scholarship will also need to act as a student ambassador for UCD. So meaning that it's not just based on academic merit, we will also look into extracurricular activity. We also look at in terms of like how you answer the questions when you are submitting for the scholarship application. So for this scholarship, you need to submit an additional application. And normally the scholarship application deadline is around the end of March for this. And moving on to another 2 more government level scholarship. So there's also another one called the Irish Aid Fellowship Training Program Scholarship. So for Vietnamese students, you can actually reach out to the Embassy of Ireland for more information of this scholarship because it's actually based on agreement between what is the skill needed for that year, those type of things. So there's limitation in terms of the program that they are accepting. So you probably want to check with them what is the terms and conditions. So it's easier for you to reach out to the embassy directly to know more information about this scholarship. But it's a scholarship that is fully funded, including living costs as well. So it's a very good scholarship if you do get it. Another one is the Government of Ireland International Education Scholarship. So this is a 1-year tuition fee waive scholarship, including a living stipend. So this is a one-off scholarship, meaning that it cannot be renewed or whatsoever. So it's more suitable for students who is doing a 1-year master program. So if you are bachelor level program students, you can apply for this scholarship, but it normally only covers for your last year. So that's why we don't really recommend you to apply if you are on a very tight budget. But if you are looking to do just a 1-year master degree, then this would be the best scholarship for you to apply. And in terms of the deadline of application for the Government of Ireland scholarship, usually it's around February, sometimes in March. So you need to double check again in advance for the year that you are applying to. And then we do have a web page that talks about the scholarship, so you can go onto it. Some schools will have individual scholarship, like our business school, they have individual scholarships for Vietnamese students as well. So it's on the school website itself. We will also have the information on the scholarship website. So coming to the end of my presentation already. So if you're interested to find more about UCD, these are the social media platforms that we are on, because nowadays videos and pictures says a lot more than words. So you can actually go on to those social media and find out more yourself. Of course, a lot of those social media platforms, for example, like TikTok and Instagram, we actually let our students take over to share their own experience studying in Ireland or in UCD. So you can actually understand more about UCD from our students' perspective as well. So this is generally the Q&A section already with my contact details and also our general mailbox. So I have actually prepared a testimonial video. So I probably want to change my screen as well. So we will come back to the Q&A very shortly. So let me end with one of our student testimonial. Has my screen changed? Yes. Is there volume? One second. Now, can I just check with you, was there sound?
Yeah.
No?
We can hear nothing.
All right, no sound.
Yeah.
Yes, just give me 1 second.
This sounds not very good.
Yes, now?
Okay,
Hello,
now
my name is June. I'm coming from Vietnam and I achieved a 50% Global Excellence Scholarship. I decided to pursue my master degree in UCD because UCD is well recognized for its high quality education system. It offers a well-rounded curriculum that can provide me necessary knowledge and skill to support for my intended career. Furthermore, UCD is also famous for its career network. At UCD, I can easily get advice on my career plan, get access to many career opportunities, as well as can join the employment events to build a network with employers. For this reason, I believe that studying at UCD will be a golden chance for me to have the first-class educational experience, as well as can help me get closer to my future career.
Yep, so that is just a very short clip about from one of our 50% students who 50% Global Excellence Scholarship student. Right, so any questions?
Vừa rồi thì là thank you Apple, thank you very
Thanks,
much for the presentation. Vừa rồi thì chị Apple đã nói với cái chuyện với mọi người về trường đại học University College Dublin. Hôm nay bởi vì là chúng ta bị giới hạn thời lượng, trên Apple cũng không thể giới thiệu quá nhiều về trường đại học tuyệt vời này. Nhưng mà em tin rằng là mọi người tham dự cái buổi webinar ngày hôm nay cũng đã có trước và một số thông tin về UCD cũng như Ireland, và trong buổi ngày hôm nay thì mọi người đã biết thêm về UCD. Khi mà đi du học thì những điều thường các bạn du học sinh quan tâm nhất, điểm đầu tiên mà bố mẹ quan tâm nhất là đất nước đó có an toàn hay không, có bình yên hay không, và chất lượng cuộc sống như thế nào. Thì như Apple cũng đã trình bày là Ireland hiện nay đã là top 2 thế giới về chỉ số an toàn về bình yên, thế cho nên là mọi người hoàn toàn có thể yên tâm. Điểm thứ hai chúng ta quan tâm đó là cái chất lượng giáo dục. Thì Ireland luôn nằm trong những quốc gia có chất lượng giáo dục hàng đầu thế giới, và một điểm đặc biệt là với các quốc gia châu Âu hiện nay nằm trong Liên minh EU thì Ireland là nước lớn duy nhất mà họ sử dụng tiếng Anh 100%. Chính vì vậy mà các bạn khi mà đi du học ở Ireland, các bạn sẽ không cần làm quen thêm với một ngôn ngữ khác nữa. Và đây là một trong những cái điều mà rất lợi thế so với các bạn. Và với cái mức học phí của so với các quốc gia nói tiếng Anh khác thì học phí cho sinh viên quốc tế của Ireland sẽ ở cái mức là khá vừa phải. Tất nhiên học phí của UCD thì sẽ không quá rẻ, nhưng mà đây vẫn là trường đại học có lượng học sinh viên quốc tế hàng đầu thế giới, bởi vì chất lượng đào tạo cũng như là những cái hỗ trợ về doanh nghiệp và việc làm sau tốt nghiệp của UCD rất tuyệt vời, rất là danh xứng với thực. Thế và UCD cũng là trường đại học, một trong trường đại học mà sinh viên của SmartA luôn luôn là ưu tiên nhất. Và hôm nay thì là nhân cơ hội trong cái buổi webinar ngày hôm nay thì mọi người có thể đặt câu hỏi cho chị Apple, vì là ở đây cũng có một số sinh viên mà em đang trực tiếp tư vấn, thì em biết mọi người có rất nhiều câu hỏi, và có những câu hỏi thì em sẽ trả lời được tốt, có những câu hỏi thì trao đổi với trường sẽ tốt hơn. Mọi người có thể trực tiếp đặt câu hỏi với Apple bằng tiếng Anh hoặc tiếng Việt, em sẽ dịch, hoặc là mọi người có thể ghi câu hỏi qua cái phần chat box đó, và là mình sẽ bên em sẽ trả lời câu hỏi của Apple. Hey Apple.
Yes.
Yeah, we can look at the chat box.
Okay.
To see the questions. Có ai có câu hỏi thì có thể ghi vào phần chat box ạ.
I don't see any questions at the moment though.
UCD là một trường đại học có cái chính sách học bổng rất là tốt, và bản thân học sinh của SmartA cũng đã có những cái học bổng 50%, và em cũng biết có những cái học bổng 100% tại UCD. Tuy nhiên thì những cái suất học bổng này không quá nhiều. Bên cạnh đó thì là okay, we have a question now.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, so just to rephrase the question, so how long will it take for an applicant to receive results after they submit their application? So usually it's 14 days in terms of processing time, but depending on the complexity of your program and also depending whether it's a busy period for us or not, so it can take up to 1 month for you to receive a decision. So that's why if you are applying or aiming for any of the scholarships, because of the deadlines are usually in February or March, that's why we usually advise students to submit no later than January, so that you actually have enough time to receive a decision, and then after that, start your scholarship application. So 14 days or to 1 month, depending on your situation. Sometimes faster than that if it's very straightforward and we are not really busy.
Thực ra thì là cái thời gian mà bạn có thể nhận được cái thư mời học ấy ạ, thì nó sẽ rơi vào khoảng tùy vào cái thời điểm mà bạn xin học, thì là theo kinh nghiệm của bên SmartA sẽ rơi vào tầm khoảng từ 2 cho đến 2-3 tuần cho đến khoảng 4-5 tuần. Tuy nhiên thì có một đặc điểm là UCD hết chỗ rất nhanh. Thế và cho nên là mọi người sẽ phải để ý là chúng ta sẽ phải xin học rất sớm, bởi vì là có thể đến tháng 2, ngoài tháng 2 ra UCD đã hết chỗ rồi. Another question.
So another question, yes. So this is regarding deposit. So after receiving the offer, do you require a deposit to secure the place? So the answer to this is yes. There's usually a deposit required for you to confirm your place on the program. And of course, we understand that students are also applying for scholarships at the same time. So like as part of the question is, if I wait for the results of the IFP or GOI scholarship, I'd like to ask if UCD admission, he can wait for my scholarship results before transferring the deposit. So it depends on the program that you're applying to, because like some programs, especially at computer science, for example, because of the competitiveness of the program, how popular it is, usually the school would want to see that the student have committed to the program. Then they only look into, for example, like scholarship, those type of things. So if you're aiming at like some more popular programs, usually it's not possible for us to extend. But for some programs, it's actually all right for us to extend until you receive your scholarship decision. Just check with us if you are sure that you want to wait for your scholarship first, then only make a decision. Let our team know, or even let NAS or SmartA know, in the sense that then we can advise and check with the school to see if the school is happy to extend your acceptance deadline. But also to note that for some scholarship, like the international student scholarship, right? So those scholarship, once they have been offered to you, the acceptance deadline is actually also the scholarship acceptance deadline. So if you pass the acceptance deadline, or if you requested for an extension for the scholarships like the international student scholarship will be taken back. So because it has passed the acceptance deadline there. So just to note for that. But we can discuss about that depending on your situation. So if you make a decision that you want to extend or accept your offer later, just let us know and we can see what is the best option available for you then. Right. The next question is in Vietnamese.
Yeah. Okay, I will translate. Về học bổng của UCD có dành cho sinh viên đại học không hay chỉ có thạc sĩ? Học bổng UCD có dành cho sinh viên đại học và học sinh của em thì vẫn đạt được, nhưng em sẽ dịch câu hỏi cho Apple. Về học phí hàng năm của UCD khoảng 27.000, học phí của UCD không phải 27.000 mà nó sẽ tùy vào từng ngành. Có ngành thì tầm hơn 20.000, có ngành thì sẽ tầm khoảng 27 hay 89.000 và có ngành thì cao hơn như ngành Y chẳng hạn. Và luôn luôn mọi người đấy là học bổng học phí chưa trừ học bổng, nhưng thường UCD sẽ có học bổng tự động như là Apple nói, cho nên là sẽ trừ được một chút. Chi phí sinh hoạt thì khoảng 17.000, thực ra không đến 17.000 nữa, nó sẽ tùy vào cái nhà ở của các bạn và chi phí sinh hoạt của các bạn. Sinh viên của em thì có bạn chỉ hết khoảng 8-9.000 thôi, nhưng có bạn sẽ hết nhiều hơn. Mọi người tính mix trung bình là khoảng tầm 10-12.000. Có ngành kỹ thuật cơ điện tử không? Bây giờ em sẽ dịch câu hỏi nhé. Hi Apple. So
yes.
The first question is that the scholarship, international scholarships of UCD is for master only or also for bachelor?
Both master and bachelor degree, they also have their own category of scholarship. So we have fixed number of amount for some scholarship, like the Global Excellence Scholarship. So there's a fixed amount of places for undergraduate and a fixed amount of places for postgraduate. Government of Ireland, because of how the scholarship is structured, usually we advise for master level students to apply, but then undergraduate you can apply, but it only covers 1 year. So maybe depending on your own situation, it's like really based on yourself.
Đấy, thì Apple cũng trả lời rằng là học bổng của UCD thì sẽ có cái mức học bổng dành cho cả sinh viên đại học và thạc sĩ, cho nên là mọi người có thể yên tâm. The second question is that the tuition fee of UCD is around 28,000 euros and the living cost is around 17 euros. Is that right?
So it really depends on your living style as well. So what program you are doing. So some programs will have lower tuition fee, some programs will have higher tuition fee. So really depending on what program you're looking at. Like if you're looking at a business, social science, art program, it like around 24 to some programs from there, 27. If we are looking at science, engineering, those type of program, it's 27 to 29, depending on what program you're looking at. And then cost of living, it can go everywhere from 10,000 to 20,000, depending on where you stay, what is your lifestyle. But usually something around 15,000, it could be more than enough. It includes like travel, food, accommodation, those type of things. Sometimes students can go below that, sometimes students can go above that, depending on your lifestyle.
Về phần học phí thì cũng như em nói đấy ạ, là mọi người có thể kiểm tra học phí rất là dễ dàng trên website của UCD. Họ có công bố học phí cho năm 2024-2025 rồi. Và cái học phí của UCD thì sẽ phụ thuộc vào từng ngành. Thế cho nên là nó sẽ không phải là cái mức là 27.700 cho tất cả các ngành. Và cái chi phí sinh hoạt thì Apple có nói là nó rất là phụ thuộc vào các bạn, từ 10.000 đến 20.000, nhưng mà Apple nói mức chung là khoảng 15.000. Thực ra sinh viên của anh thì không hết đến như vậy đâu, bởi vì là cái chi phí sinh hoạt mà đắt đỏ nhất thì sẽ là thuê nhà. Thì tùy vào các bạn thuê được nhà ở đâu, ví dụ như là mới sang thì tiền thuê nhà của mình sẽ cao hơn, nhưng sau đó thì các bạn sẽ tìm được cái chỗ ở nó phù hợp hơn và giá nó rẻ hơn. Thứ hai là cái tiền ăn uống, nếu mà các bạn tự nấu thì rẻ lắm ạ, chỉ có các bạn đi ăn hàng nhiều thì sẽ rất đắt. Ở Ireland là như vậy. Do you have mechanic and electronics?
Engineering, you mean?
Engineering.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in our engineering program, if you are looking at a bachelor level, we do have engineering as a common entry, and then within it there's specialization like mechanical, electrical and electronics, civil, chemical. There's a large type of area around. I think like 7 of them, different areas. If you go on to master level, there's even more. So some of that even related to sustainability, some of them related to energy even. So we do have like even our master level mechanical engineering or even electrical and electronic, depending on what branch you are looking at as well. So we do have that.
Tất nhiên là một trường đại học lớn như UCD thì sẽ có ngành kỹ thuật cơ điện tử ạ. Thế cho nên mọi người hoàn toàn có thể yên tâm, và nó sẽ là theo hệ kỹ sư chứ không phải theo hệ cử nhân khoa học. Okay, the next question is in English.
All right, thanks a lot, Nga. So how many rounds of application I have to go through for the master program? Usually it's just one. Some master program may ask for interview, then it's 2, but majority of them is just 1 round. You submit your documents. If your documents are more than enough sufficient, you usually then receive an offer or a decision on your application. Okay, so the student situation is a bit specific to healthcare management from the US. And is it possible to use the diploma and work experience to apply for an MBA? Or you can only apply to the healthcare related program. Okay, so MBA is a very different program. So MBA normally is more suitable for students or people who have actually worked at least 5 years and above in the industry, and is maybe looking on more of a managerial position, or if you are looking at like climbing a corporate ladder type of thing, the MBA will be very suitable for you. And it doesn't really like gatekeep in terms of any of the area of study you are presenting. So even if you're not coming from a business background, you still can apply to an MBA. But MBA normally requires you to provide additional information and also additional qualification as well. So for example, like GMAT, GMAT, or GRE. I guess if you're from the US, you probably is already familiar from these 2 names, any one of them, but you need to additionally provide those qualifications because it is as part of the MBA application requirement, because they want to also see that you have ability in terms of analyzing stuff, and also your quantitative ability, data analytic ability, those type of things. So that's why there's that mandatory aptitude test on top of your academic results. But it's all right, even though you are not coming from a business background, you can also still apply to MBA, but you need to prepare and structure your personal statement and CV to show that why at this point of time doing an MBA is what you want to do, or why is it relevant to what you are trying to achieve. Yeah, so that is actually more important than the background that you are presenting, because we have also seen students coming from a huge range of different backgrounds applying to MBA. But in terms of that sense, is you need to also meet those grade requirements, those GMAT or GRE requirement, and also how it actually links to what you are trying to achieve. So those are the things that you need to prepare. So you are not limited to just doing healthcare related. But if you want to, of course, go on to do healthcare related, you can always do that. We also have those type of programs. But if you want to go ahead to pursue MBA, feel free to do that. But you need to meet those requirements. Right, moving on to the next question is a student from a gifted high school in Vietnam. So how long will my grade 12 results remain valid for university application? And is it possible to apply to universities using my grade 11 results? Okay, so for students coming from gifted high school, unfortunately, grade 11 is not sufficient. But if you have a semester 1 grade 12 results, you can submit that and we can provide a conditional offer or provisional offer if your application is successful. So that is actually quite common. Every year we do receive gifted high school students applying to us. So just provide your first semester result, and if successful, you will receive a conditional offer on your final grade 12 results. Right. Next one. I would like to ask about the entry requirement for MSc in Human Resource Management, whether work experience is required, and what the job prospects in this field are like in Ireland. So let me just give you one page that you can actually refer to later on after the session today. But the general requirement for our master program in business is usually an honors bachelor degree with 2.1 and above from Vietnamese university. I'm not too sure if you graduated from Vietnamese university, but if you graduated from a Vietnamese university, generally the requirement is roughly a GPA of 7.5 and above. Working experience, of course, is going to be a plus point to your application, because human resource management, if you have that working experience, it actually helps. It's something that they will look into as well. But don't worry about it, because the program is also catered for fresh graduates. So if you don't have any working experience, it's still possible, but probably then in terms of your GPA, that will be the main thing that we assess then. But if, for example, you have good working experience, like 3 years working experience type of thing in HR, for example, then probably the GPA requirement is not as strict. But then it also depends on a lot of other factors that we are also looking at when we are assessing the application. But let me provide you with this link. There you go. You should be able to see in the chat now. I've provided an additional link. So SmartA School is our business school. So this is the program, and the eligibility is where you can actually look up the entry requirement. So you can see that there's all on it. So if, for example, you have a second class honors degree, meaning that this more for fresh graduate type of entry point, so then they strictly ask for a specific area, specific GPA. But if you are coming from any other bachelor degree, or if you have relevant working experience, then we are not as tight, not as strict in terms of the GPA requirement or the program that you are presenting. And you can also refer to the tuition fee and the program structure overview curriculum from this page as well. All right, so moving on to the next question. All right, so does UCD provide scholarship for all programs or just some certain majors? So I would say it's a yes and a no. So some scholarships, we do have eligible programs. So one of the main programs that is usually excluded from most of the scholarship is medicine or clinical program. So if you're looking at those type of subject area, then probably you couldn't really look for any scholarship already. You need to be fully self-funded. But majority of the programs, you can actually apply to most of the scholarship. But saying that, also to note that if you are looking at like government level scholarship, like the Irish fellowship scholarship that I mentioned, the third scholarship there is specific subject area that those scholarship bodies are looking for. So you actually need to check with the scholarship provider, like in that case, Embassy of Ireland in Vietnam, for example, and check what is the requirement of that year, because every year they may even change the program that they want to fund for. So that's why there's that additional subject requirement in certain majors. And also, if you're looking at the Global Excellence Scholarship, we do have the terms and conditions on the scholarship web page as well. And there's also a list of eligible programs. Majority of the programs is a yes, but you also need to also look and see if the program that you're applying to, is it listed as an eligible program or not. So it's actually normally mentioned in the terms and conditions. So it's a yes and no in this case. Right, so the next question, Nga, probably need your help again because it's also in Vietnam.
Yes, so the question is that she asked about the foundation program
What program?
The foundation program at UCD.
Oh, foundation
For
program.
some
Okay.
students, they need foundation program. So what's about the foundation program, and what is the requirements for the foundation program?
Right. So it depends on the previous qualification that you are presenting. So if you're looking at foundation, I assume then probably you are coming from a Vietnamese national curriculum. That if you are coming from a Vietnamese national curriculum, just like that.
So if the student not from gifted high school,
yeah, from the normal national general curriculum
foundation program.
Right. So in that case, we are looking at a year 12 GPA 7 and above over 10 in 4 subjects, including mathematics, literature, and also depending on what path you want to go into. So our foundation program, there's 3 different pathways. So one is science and engineering, one is art and humanities, another one is social science and business. So depending on what area you are looking at, so if you are looking into like science and engineering, of course, then the other subject area that they are looking at will be like science, mathematics, those type of area. If you are going into like arts, then probably it's more towards like history, those type of subject area. So it really depends on what you are looking at. But let me just give you a link over so that you can actually get more information of the foundation program. So this is the Dublin ISC. So that is our international study center, which is where our foundation will be held. So it's actually on UCD campus as well. So meaning that when you are doing the foundation, you will be traveling over to Ireland to UCD campus, and you will be using UCD facilities as well. So it's 1 year before your actual bachelor degree. So you can find the entry requirement of Vietnamese students on this page here. But of course, you can go on to the other section of the page to find more information of our foundation program. Right, moving on to the next question. Yes?
Yes, another question from her. So in which program that we, just the foundation program for all the program? So is there any program that not recognize students from foundation program?
Meaning as in like if there's any limitation in terms of progressing into specific programs in bachelor degree, is that the question?
So is that any program, for example, medicine?
Okay.
I want to know, is that any program that foundation student could not progress to?
Oh, okay, yes. So there is limitation in that sense. Some majors in a bachelor degree, you can't really progress from a foundation. So medicine is one of them. Psychology is also another one of them. Most of the health sciences like radiography, physiotherapy, those type of area, or even veterinary medicine, those type of area you can't progress with a foundation. But besides that, if you are looking at generally business, science, engineering, architecture, agriculture, social science, arts, those type of area, you can actually progress into them based on the foundation pathway that you are choosing.
Chị Bị Mai Kiều Trang ơi, tức là có một số chương trình chủ yếu là ví dụ như chương trình chăm sóc sức khỏe, như chương trình y á, thì là học dự bị sẽ không lên được. Thế còn lại thì là hầu như tất cả các chương trình về kinh tế, về khoa học vân vân thì sẽ đều lên được từ chương trình dự bị. So another question is that what is the entry requirements for Bachelor of Commerce?
Presenting what qualification?
Yes, from A level.
All right. So if you are from A level and then looking to do commerce, may I ask 3 subject A level or 4 subject A level?
Business, mathematics, and business and psychology. I remember that.
Oh, so it's 3 subjects A level.
Yes.
Right. So if you're looking at 3 subjects A level, for progression into commerce is 3 A's minimum. Yes. With the mathematics is perfect because mathematics is also one of the subject requirement for business. So it's like that is the minimum requirement for that.
Okay.
All right. So I move on to the next question. Or is there any? All
yes.
Right, okay. Okay, so I move on to the next question. So I got an offer from the university, but not able to enroll in that semester. Can I defer my offer to the next intake, or do I have to reapply in the next intake? So the thing is, there's a few factors that may affect whether you can defer or not. So one is, if you are holding a conditional offer, you cannot defer, right? If you're holding a firm offer, depending on the school, if it's a competitive program, they won't let you defer. So there's a lot of factors in that. So when you have decided to defer, let us know and we can check for you. So if the program allows you to defer, sorry, if the program allows you to defer, yes, you can defer, meaning that you don't need to reapply. But if, for example, the school do not allow you to defer, then you can normally just reapply again the next year. And depending on the arrangement of the deposit, so sometimes the deposit can be moved forward to the next year, or if not, then we will refund the deposit to you, and then you just pay the deposit again for next year. So there is different ways based on what program that you have applied to and based on your circumstances. So just let us know if you want to defer, but defer is definitely an option available. Right, so moving on to the next one, I'd like to ask about the importance of extracurricular activity in the master application evaluation process. Okay, so extracurricular activity is important to some degree, but generally, most of the master degree, they will first refer to your academic results. So that will be your first step in. If, for example, your academic result is not as strong, sometimes you get like a lower than a 2.1, so lower than a 7.0, you get something like maybe 6.5 or something like that. Depending on the program, if it's a less technical program, they will take into consideration working experience, extracurricular, those type of area. But if we are looking at a more technical program, for example, like engineering, they are very, very strict in terms of the academic requirement. So in that case, if you don't meet the academic requirement, they would not take in a student even if you have like some of the extracurricular type of thing. But that in some way it's applied to some extent only, because we have also seen students who probably, even though their GPA wasn't that strong, but if they have relevant working experience in that field of study for like 10 years, we have also seen the school accepted it. So each student situation is very unique and very, it will be assessed individually based on your circumstances. So don't worry too much about it. If you want to do this program, just submit an application, because there's nothing to lose. You can check, and then we can actually help you to check with the school to see if the school will consider this application or not, because each case is very different and very unique. Because sometimes, even though when you're looking at extracurricular activity, there's just so many different types of extracurricular activity nowadays. Some of them probably is irrelevant to what you are looking to study. Some of them are relevant. Of course, the more relevant one helps in terms of application. And even though you probably have a lot of extracurricular activity, but if none of them are related to what you are studying, or if you can't really relate to what you have done in terms of extracurriculum to what you want to study, it also does not help. So it's very unique and very individual type of thing. So my advice is, if you're unsure, submit an application first, provide all the documents, and we go through those documents, then we will make a decision on your application. All right, moving on to the next question. I would like to ask about the master program in supply chain management. Could you provide more information about this field and the job opportunities after graduation? So similarly, I'll also give you the link then in terms of the supply chain. It also do, like on the program page itself, it also do have a section that talks about the career perspective and also where our graduates have been to, what companies that they are working with. So you can also look more into those information. And it also helps you to make an informed decision before you apply to UCD. Right, so first part of that. And the second part of the question is, does UCD have dormitory? What are the conditions for staying there and how much cost? So yes, we do have on-campus accommodation. So if you are applying to a master level program, usually it's first come, first serve. For business school, because they have their own campus, most of students on the business postgraduate program will get to stay over on the Blackrock campus. So there is a higher possibility for you to get on-campus accommodation in comparison to the students who are doing a master's degree on Bellevue campus. Cost, it can vary depending on your type of room, because we have a few type of different residential halls on campus, on both campuses in fact. And some of them are like ensuite. So ensuite whether includes the toilet in your room or not, or the toilet will be shared with other people. Or we also have catered and non-catered. So catered is whether the food will be provided to you or if you need to prepare your own food on a daily basis. So there is those type of different type of rooms, those type of information as well. So we do have a page called Residence. So UCD Residence is the team that actually handles accommodation on campus. So let me give you the link also so that you can actually look into the rate. So the rate they will probably adjust it every year based on the cost of living at that time. But then generally it's the average price of the area where UCD is. Just to note that UCD accommodation, the price can be slightly higher than other areas in Dublin. It's because UCD is on an embassy area. So we need to follow the average rent price of the embassy area. So it's usually slightly a bit higher than the neighboring areas around Dublin kind of thing. So of course, the further you stay away from UCD, the cheaper it is. But then you need to factor in also how much it costs to travel, money-wise and time-wise as well. So I would not recommend you to stay like 2 hours away to save rent. But then you need to commute every day into campus for 2 hours. It's not worth it. So you also need to find a good balance around that as well. So let me give you a page for accommodation as well. So accommodation. Okay. So moving next is a bachelor degree in law. So wants to continue to do a master degree in Ireland. Do you need to take additional classes since the law system education in 2 countries are different? And how the career prospects in law after a master degree? All right, so probably need a bit of clarification from you now. Is Vietnam using the common law system or civil law system, or what is the law system that you are using?
Not common law.
Not common law.
Yes, I think there's a little bit the difference between Vietnam law system to Ireland, because you use common law.
Mm-hmm.
The same with UK.
Ireland is also quite different. It's not exactly common law as well.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So right. So the good thing about UCD is even on a bachelor degree, if you are looking to do the law degree, right, it doesn't really just contain you within one law system. So when you're doing the law program in UCD on a bachelor level, because the reason I'm starting with bachelor level is because it's more generalized. But then if you're going on a master level, you can pick then and choose what specialization you want to get into. But if you're looking at like even the bachelor degree in law in UCD, we cater it for all the different law systems in the world, because we know that it's getting more and more complicated as you go by. So you'll be studying everything from like common law, civil law related, some of that even European law, but we don't really call it like common law or civil law per se. So it's more like you'll be doing like tort law, employment law, those kind of things. So the general type of things. And then when you go into a master level degree, then you get to pick and choose what type of law is more suitable for you. But sometimes students, they probably only want to do like commercial law. So we do have commercial law, we have criminal law as well. We also have another one that's related to economic related stuff also. There's also like different type of area, even like digital policy, those type as well. So it really depends on what type of specialization that you look at. So we don't really lock you in one type of law system. But of course, if you are looking at very specifically, you want to just do like European law, then that is quite fixed. That is a law system. That is how it is. So I can give you more information of the different law masters program that we have. And then maybe then you can actually look into it and see what is the program that your friend will be more interested in. Law. Right. Let me just quote this. All right, so, and then also another thing is in terms of the, oh, did I put it in the right place? They are not, I did not put the right place, did I?
Can you see the next questions? From Mr. Sang. Hi, Apple, may I ask what are the entry requirements for the pharma program and how it is different from the other ones about scholarships, tuition fees, and more information on the field, if possible? Thanks a lot. So the student, he's very interested in biology.
Mm-hmm.
So he's thinking about UCD pharmacology, bachelor pharmacology. So could you tell him more about the pharma program and how it is different from the other ones? About
okay, so
fees and
Entry requirement wise, may I ask what is the qualification that you are presenting? If A level,
yeah, A level.
All right, okay. So if it's A level, it's actually quite similar to commerce in a sense. It's also 3 A's if you're doing 3 subject A level.
It's
And
3A?
3 A's if you are looking.
So it's not 3A in your website?
Sorry, just 1 second. Let me double check that.
Yes. Could you please check it?
Yes, sure. Oh, 2 A's and 1 B, sorry. So 2A and 1B, if you're looking at the pharmaceutical program. So this program itself is under the Bachelor of Science. And how it works is, if you are looking to become a pharmacist in the future, then this program probably is not applicable for you. But this program is more suitable for students who are looking into drug research and development. So more on the lab side of the program, rather than the prescribing part of pharmaceuticals, say. So there is scholarships available. So similarly, those scholarships that I mentioned in presentation will be applicable to you. Tuition fee, you probably want to check again the next year when you're applying, but usually it's around like 29,000 euro per year. And then if you want to arrange a separate session in terms of getting to know more about this program itself, more than happy to do that. You can actually arrange that through me, and then we can actually do a one-to-one counseling, so I can provide more information of the program. But generally, this program, it's more science, more lab, in comparison to like the other pharmaceutical program that you're looking at elsewhere. So if you're interested in like drug discovery, those sort of area, and the good thing about this program is that because if you're joining the program, it will be through the Bachelor of Science pathway. So halfway through the program, if you decided that this is not a major that you want to progress or pursue, you can also still change to other areas in biology or chemistry as well. So it still gives you a bit of flexibility in the sense that if you try it out in the first 2 years and then you don't really like it, sometimes students, they will actually choose to go in like genetics, or some of them go into like chemical chemistry, or even like chemical medicinal chemistry, those type of area as well. So you can still branch off to different area in science when you are doing the science program in UCD. Okay. So how about the scholarships? So it's the same scholarships that is applicable as the one I mentioned in the presentation. Yes. So how about the career path? So is it easy to find a job related in Ireland? I couldn't really say that finding job is easy or hard. It's also because it depends on how much effort the student put into it, and probably also not all student is looking into going into the workplace as well. So there is the demand in terms of pharmaceutical area. So for example, like a lot of the top pharmaceutical companies are actually based in Dublin, in the sense that if you are interested to look into working in those type of area, there's also internships that you can go on to when you are doing the program itself. So there is credit-bearing internship if you want to do it, but of course you need to meet the GPA requirement and the additional requirements around those credit-bearing internship. Even if you don't get to do the credit-bearing internship, you still can choose to do summer internship at your own free time. Because in Ireland, usually you get quite a long summer holiday. So depending on when you finish your exam, it can be early May to end of May until end of August, which is almost 3 to 4 months time. So that is actually a very good time if you are looking to gain working experience, or you want to try out to see if you actually like this area or not. Because sometimes when you're studying the program and when you're actually working in the field itself, it can be quite different. So that's why we also highly recommend students to actually try it out before you make a decision. So a lot of students actually, especially around the second year per se, they will start going on to internship, even if it's credit bearing or not credit bearing per se. They will actually go on, and even starting from first year, we will start giving you that awareness. Okay, so what are the companies that are available? What is the requirement of those companies? Because we will actually bring in those HR people of those companies, those employers into campus, so that there's around like 3 to 4 career fairs per year. You can start joining even from first year already. So you can actually go into that and see what are the companies available, what is their requirement, what they are looking from candidates, how to apply. When you are ready in your second year and you want to actually try it out, then you know how to navigate around that. Of course, we also have career centers that support you in terms of linking with like other companies if you're looking at like companies elsewhere as well. So they can also advise you and guide you in terms of like CV, how to write it, interview, how to do an interview, those sort of thing. But at the end of the day, career is one thing that students need to make the effort on. It's not to say that we can guarantee you a job, or it's like you definitely will get a job type of thing. How it works usually is two ways. So you need to make the effort as well. We provide the support, but you need to make that informed decision on how to go about with it and why you want to do it, to have that clear aim and objective on why you want to do this and what you're trying to get out of it at the end of the day. Right, hope that it helps to answer your question. And moving on to the next question, or any other questions for that?
Yeah, that's all. So
all right, I'll move on to the next one.
Yes.
All right, so how to increase the chances of getting a master scholarship from the school? So scholarship-wise, there's a lot of factors that we take into consideration. GPA, one of that, any ability, because you need to act as a student ambassador for UCD if you are aiming for like a higher amount scholarship. In that case, we also look at how charismatic you are. For example, if you actually have any leadership experience, you probably want to highlight that as well. Or if you have done any project or any community contribution, those are the things that we are also looking at as well. So there's no one way, one type of template or pattern that fits everyone, because everyone is coming from very different background. What you can do, what you can actually achieve can be quite different. Some students probably have more publication or research experience. Some of them probably have a lot of working experience. Some of them probably fresh grad, but they have done a lot like student council in their university or high school. So everyone can be coming from a very different background. So if you need the scholarship, or if you are sure that you want to go to UCD and you want to get financial support around that, that's why we have the scholarship. So if you are genuine and legit that you want a scholarship, my advice is just to apply. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, then you only then make a decision and say whether you can come or not, if there's any additional support around it. Because sometimes there is also school-specific scholarship for students who didn't get the bigger amount scholarship. Of course, it won't cover as huge as an amount as the big amount scholarship, but it still at least covers a small amount of, let's say, 25% or even 50% of your tuition fee type of thing. So it helps you, and you need to then maintain, or you then need to bear the remaining amount of the cost. So it's still something that we can negotiate or discuss with, but then really depends. There's no one way or one type of student that we are looking at per se. And then moving on to the next question is digital marketing major, any additional requirement? So digital marketing, there's not a lot of like subjects or module requirement around it, because marketing is very broad. Even students who are not coming from a business or marketing background, you can also apply to digital marketing. But because digital marketing involves you to get like to actually do like data analytics, also require you to have some foundation in using technology. So having a good like mathematics or statistics background will actually help you in that regards if you are looking at digital marketing.
Right. So the next question is okay, so mechatronics program, bachelor of mechatronics programs. So how about GPA more than 8.0 and IELTS 7.0 and SAT 1,400? So is this okay?
That's actually very high SAT score.
Yes.
All right.
Is
so
okay for the program?
Possible for you to apply if you're from a gifted high school. So mechatronics, just to note that we don't specifically have mechatronics because we have that under mechanical engineering. And because people actually asked me before, like, why don't UCD have something as specific as like automotive engineering or aerospace engineering or mechatronic or megatronic engineering type. So someone actually asked me that question before. And I actually asked this question to the Dean of Engineering before on why like UCD don't have that type of specific type of engineering. So the rationale behind it is because even though you have mechanical engineering background or electrical electronic background, right, you are still eligible to apply for a mechatronic job. But if you are presenting something like a mechatronic engineering degree, and if you want to apply next time in the future to aircraft engineering, for example, it's not possible because it's a very different area. So they want to give students that broad overview, because at the end of the day, when you are building stuff, you still need to have this skill. So when you are doing specialized program, of course, then it allows you to specialize in a particular area, but specialization can be risky in the sense that it tunnels you into just one area. And if in the future, then you decided you don't really want to do this, you can't really branch off to other things. So that's why usually they will advise students to go on more of the traditional type of engineering like mechanical, electrical, electronic, civil, chemical, broader sense. And if you want to do a specific specialization, you can choose to do that on a master level. So that's why we have more specific specialized on a master level, but on a bachelor level, it's more general. So mechatronics, unfortunately, we don't have that specialization on a master level, but you still can look into other universities that actually do have this mechatronics master degree. Or if after that you decided that you don't really want to do mechatronics, probably sometimes students will go into AI. So we do have AI related master's program as well. So those are something that you can consider. But with this GPA, this IELTS, this SAT couldn't be a problem. So the only thing that probably I'll be a bit more concerned is mathematics. So unfortunately, because engineering has a higher mathematics requirement, you can't really use the SAT mathematics to meet that. So you might want to look into doing AP mathematics if possible, or either if you want to do a higher level mathematics in that. So that is just my only concern.
Yes. Cũng gần hết giờ, thế cho nên là em sẽ nói nhanh, em sẽ nói kỹ sau với cả chị Trang về cái chương trình, bởi vì nó sẽ hơi khác một chút với cả cái chương trình của Việt Nam, bởi vì họ sẽ học mang tính chất là ban đầu cái ngành kỹ sư họ sẽ học chung hơn ạ. Đấy, và cái điều kiện đầu vào này thì có thể apply vào ngành, tuy nhiên sẽ phải xem cái điểm toán một chút. Dạ. Còn em sẽ nhắn kỹ hơn với chị Trang ạ. Chị Trang để lại contact cho em nhé, xong em sẽ nhắn kỹ hơn về cách mà UCD họ dạy ạ.
Cảm ơn.
Dạ.
Okay.
Another question. I saw another question. Yes, from Trần Trí Dũng. Hi Apple. I was told that Bachelor of Business and Commerce in UCD are quite similar in the content.
Okay, yeah. So we do have that program, that tool program, but maybe I want to do the question above it first.
Can you see the question?
Yeah, I can see the question, but there's also another question on top of it.
Okay.
so I do that question on top of it first. Okay.
So I missed the question.
Yeah, no worries. So I'll just do the one on top of it first. So the question is, can I get into UCD postgraduate program in finance with a 3 years bachelor degree in business administration, which is 120 credits? Okay, complicated situation. So 120 credits is considered ordinary degree. Unfortunately, it's not an honors bachelor degree. But if you are from the UK, it's possible to be considered, but you probably want to submit an official application for us to assess. If you are from Australia, 3 years bachelor degree is just not sufficient. 3 years bachelor degree for us is considered an ordinary degree, and meaning that you still need to do a top-up honors bachelor degree elsewhere first before you can apply to our master degree. All right. So if you're not sure, my advice is submit an official application, and we will do the assessment to see whether you are eligible for the program or not. Then we can only let you know whether it's a yes or no. And then job prospects for international students after completing 1 year master in finance and or business in UCD. So the job prospects, especially if you're looking at like finance, it's a huge demand in the industry at the moment, or in the country at the moment, because of those banks that are now based in Ireland, and also their demand in terms of like fintech, if you're interested in that area. But finance is quite broad. It's not just fintech. There's also other area where more traditional finance, or even some of them probably looking into like stock market, those type of area. So there is those type of demand in terms of jobs. In Ireland, you can look more into it. Similarly, the page that I've shared in terms of like the business school, you can also go on to hop to find more information of our finance program, because finance, there's a few types of finance in it as well. Some of them are like traditional finance, there's quantitative finance, qualitative finance, behavioral finance as well. So there's many different types of finance that you also want to look into it to see what is more suitable based on your needs. So let me just get you that page. Finance. Probably I just share the whole SmartFit school program page, so everyone like can actually just look into it, depending on what master program business you're looking at. All right, so I move on to the commerce question now. So Bachelor of Science in Business and the Bachelor of Commerce. So what is the main difference? Okay, so if you don't really have an idea, or if you haven't made a decision on what business branch you want to specialize in, business branch as in like marketing, management, or if you're looking at like accounting, finance, if you're looking at digital marketing, innovation, or entrepreneurship or whatsoever, if you haven't made a decision on where you want to specialize in, my advice is for you to go into the Bachelor of Commerce. So inside our Bachelor of Commerce, it's quite similar in terms of structure to the science degree, in the sense that within the Bachelor of Commerce, there's 13 different areas of business that you can consider and specialize in your final year. So when you are doing the program itself, the first 2 years, you can actually try out in the different areas in business and see where you want to specialize in. So the program in terms of curriculum is actually 3 years, but students can choose to add 1 year internship year. So the internship year, if you do add it, it will be in your 3rd year. And in that sense, some students, they will say that, okay, I want to come and do accountancy. So they take a lot of specialization in accountancy in the first 2 years. But then once they go on for the internship year and they went on to accountancy firm, if they suddenly regretted that decision, where some of my students have actually experienced that. So what happened is they will come back and they will choose to specialize in a different area. So rather than going to specialize in accountancy, they instead went on to specialize in like marketing or management, for example, which is something it's possible as well. So it actually gives you that flexibility of changing major halfway through the program. Right. So the BSc Business, it's specific in the sense that if you are looking at doing international business. So international business in the sense that if your aim is to work in a multicultural or multinational company in the future, so the BSc Business will have more modules, includes working with team coming from multicultural or multinational background. So it's it's different from the traditional business in the sense that it's preparing students for you in the workplace. If in the future you will be dealing with like multinational companies, then this program will be more suitable for you. All right, we also have another program called Commerce International, and people will be asking like, what's the difference then between Commerce International and these other two? So Commerce International is for students who want to do the commerce program, but at the same time want to learn 2 more European Union language, then the Commerce International will be suitable for you. So it's a similar structure as the commerce program, but the only difference is add 2 more modules every year for languages of your choice. But of course, we normally advise students to have at least a basic or intermediate proficiency in one of the language that they chose between the 2 of them, because to start 2 new language fresh in the first year or even second year is going to be very painful. So we won't recommend you to do that. You need to have at least a basic proficiency or intermediate proficiency in one of the language that you have chose. Okay, so better job opportunity and application acceptance rate. So commerce have more places. So if you are looking at acceptance rate, of course, percentage-wise is going to be higher than BSc Business. BSc Business has a smaller class size and also smaller places that they accept students. So in comparison to commerce, that is the main difference. But regardless which one you choose, you will actually still have a lot of overlap in terms of your modules in the first 2 years anyway, depending on what you choose. So even though you are doing BSc Business, you still meet people from commerce. Like you still have classmates from the Bachelor of Commerce. So they're actually not that different in that regards. It's just the approach or the aim of the program is slightly different between that 2 programs. Right, moving on to the next question. What can make my profile stand out when applying for a bachelor program and how competitive it is? So usually a good GPA will be the first thing that help you stand out. But of course, if you're looking at a very competitive program, I'm talking about like medicine, for example, psychology, health science program, veterinary medicine, or computer science, for example. So those are very competitive programs. So in that regards, the grade requirement or the minimum entry requirement is the minimum for you to be considered into the program. So of course, on top of that, there will also be like interview arranged. Sometimes they also look into your personal statement, they look into your reference. So if you are looking at medicine, for example, it's not as simple as just meeting the grades. They will also look to see if you have what your personal statement looks like. They also look at your reference letter, like have you done any relevant experience around clinical setting, or do you understand the clinical medicine industry per se? So they will also look into those sort of things. So there is no one-way fit-all type of thing, I would say. So if you're aiming at a more competitive program, you need to make sure that you know what you are getting yourself into. So if you're looking at like veterinary medicine, for example, they want to also see that you have animal handling experience. So you also need to actually like try it out working with animals, or either you also need to have probably some experience working, volunteering, or even in zoos, or either like SPCA, those type of area, because those are relevant to the subject area that you're doing. Those are normally more applicable to technical programs or professional qualification programs. If you're applying to something like a commerce program, or if you're applying to something like science, social science, for example, or even engineering per se, even though engineering is technical in some way, but generally, because you're applying to a bachelor program, they don't really expect you to already know too much about the program. So it's all right for you to start afresh, as long as you have the basic subject, for example, like mathematics, science, those type of things, depending on the area that you are looking to study. So it should be more than enough. Normally, if you want to apply any additional profile-related thing, personal statements, those type of reference letter, besides competitive program, if you're aiming to apply for scholarship, then I'll advise you to prepare it very well. But for the other program, if you are looking to just getting enrollment, usually like personal statement or even reference letter, they are not really mandatory, but it helps in terms of you getting higher scholarship, or if you are actually trying to get a scholarship kind of thing. Right, another question that was DM directly to me. So does the school require high band of IELTS score? Is 6.5 enough, or should it be higher? Generally, most of the programs, bachelor level or master level, a 6.5 overall with a 6 individual band score is more than enough. But just to note that some programs may have higher English requirements, such as education-related programs, business postgraduate program, some of the language-related program. So those type of program maybe will have a few components higher or higher overall. So you can just double check in terms of the program page for that. But generally 6.5 is enough for most. Right, last question here. Am I allowed to apply for multiple programs simultaneously? If so, is there a specific limit to the number of programs I can apply to? Okay, so the good thing about UCD application system is you can apply to as many programs as you want. But from an admission perspective, I would advise you to submit no more than 3. So how it works is because the more programs you apply to, it shows us that you're unsure what you want to study, is one. Second is when you actually do get a decision on those programs or those applications, it's more confusing for you to make a decision because you get more choices now. So my advice is, rather than submitting to multiple applications, read through the program course first, read through the program structure, read through the entry requirement, read through the modules of those programs first, then make a decision on what program that you are sure that you want to enroll into, or what is the program that you want to study in. Only apply for multiple programs if you are unsure if your entry requirement can meet or not, or if maybe you are interested in 2 different areas and you want to see with your qualification which one you can enter. Because like what I've seen before, sometimes students, they'll apply to information system, and also they will apply to our master in computer science negotiated learning, because technically the student interest is in information and data, but information system itself, it has fixed modules, and negotiated learning in computer science, how it works is you need to negotiate with the professor on what you want to study. Of course, data analytics is one area, but it doesn't really cover information system. So how it works is, student in that case, after reviewing both programs, they understand, okay, so this program does this program does this, doesn't have this type of area, but I'm actually interested in both. So then submit an application, but maybe the student background, because like in that case, the student was coming from a computer science background, so information system wasn't that suitable. So end up the student went on to negotiated learning. So even though submitted to 2 different applications, but because of the previous entry requirement or because of previous qualification, the student may not be eligible for one program and eligible for another. In that case, applying to multiple programs makes sense. But in other cases, I've seen 12 different applications to generally all of the programs on a bachelor level. That is not applicable to you. So it's just trying your luck, meaning that we don't really know that, okay, so you're just trying your luck in the sense that applying to all programs and see what offers you can get. But with your entry requirement, If it's like too low, then you probably already know that this program, you are not eligible for it. If it's like you can meet all the requirements of the program, then after that you get 12 different offers, you're still going to make a decision on which offer you want to accept, which it defeats the purpose of you understanding the program itself. So my advice is usually read through the program first. Read through the program, understand the structure of the program, the modules of the program, what you will be studying, what the program objective is, what you can learn from the program. Then only submit an application to the program that you are sure that if you do get an offer, you will enroll into this program. Then that is how the application works. So even though we don't limit you, answer in short, we don't limit you, but it's better that you actually know what you're applying to rather than just throwing a whole huge net and try to see what fish you can catch. Okay?
Thank you very much, Apple. I think that's the last question. Xin cảm ơn các bạn và các anh chị và các bạn ngày hôm nay đã dự buổi webinar với cả bên SmartA cũng như là UCD. Và xin các anh chị và các bạn hãy nhớ rằng là sáng ngày Chủ nhật, ngày 6 tháng 10 năm nay, chúng ta sẽ có một triển lãm du học lớn với sự tham dự của những trường đại học lớn nhất Ireland. Hẹn gặp lại các anh chị và các bạn cùng với UCD và các trường đại học khác nữa của Ireland tại khách sạn Media 9 giờ sáng ngày Chủ nhật, ngày 6 tháng 10 năm 2024. Thank you very much, Apple. I have just mentioned about our fair, our big fair in October. And see you then.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you all as well. If some of you all want to come and meet me for fair, especially if you have specific program that you want to consult on, or if you are like for example, the situation that I say, like you are torn between different programs, not too sure which one to choose. So I can actually go through the program with you. We can actually understand to see what is your needs, what actually fits you better. So that consultation, it works that way easier rather than you sometimes, because reading those information and navigating it, sometimes you may misunderstood the information, or you may don't understand something. Then you can always ask me and come and meet me or Nga in the fair itself. So definitely look forward to see some of you all, maybe if you all are joining. If not, keep in contact. You can always reach out to Nga. I am more than happy to do a virtual or online type of consultation with you as well. All right.
Nếu các anh chị và các bạn còn có câu hỏi nào, hoặc là sau này tự dưng nảy sinh ra câu hỏi nào nữa, thì có thể liên hệ với SmartA. SmartA sẽ chuyển câu hỏi đến UCD để các anh chị và các bạn có thể nhận được câu trả lời sớm nhất có thể. Thank you very much for everyone today and have a great week ahead. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Apple. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good day.